What a game for the Cincinnati Bengals for the first time since 1989. They punched their ticket to the Super Bowl after a shocking 27-24 overtime win against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. This was a true tale of two halves. The Chiefs score 3 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions, hold Cincy to just a field goal in the first half. But the Bengals, they make adjustments, shift gears, and rally back from an 18-point deficit to tie the largest comeback in AFC title game history. That Burrow to Chase connection, it came up big when it needed to. We saw it in the national championship when they were teammates at LSU. At the end of the third quarter, they pull the Bengals within 2 points at 21-19. And this is where the Bengals get hot. Mahomes starts to let it slip away. We started to see him in the second half get a little more hesitant. He didn't pull the trigger fast enough, but they were still able to force overtime. And we saw this happen last week. Bills quarterback Josh Allen calls tails on the coin flip. It comes up heads. Mahomes gets the ball. They win the game. But the Bengals defense, after losing the coin toss,
it is tails.
They weren't going to let this happen to them. Safety Von Bell snags a crucial interception in overtime. They give the Bengals the ball to make their way down the field, and they set up Evan McPherson for a 31-yard field goal, sending the Bengals to the Super Bowl. The Bengals are just the second team under the current overtime rules to win in this situation. They were able to pull off what no other team has done before. Never has a team been able to overcome a halftime deficit of more than 10 points and gone on to win multiple games against the same opponent in one season, including the playoffs. That was until last night. When I gave my Bengals pick, I shared that rematches tend to have a repeat winner in the postseason. There have been 11 regular season rematches to appear in the AFC or NFC title game since 2014. And the winner of the regular season game is 9-2 in the conference championship. Make that 10-2, since Cincinnati came back from trailing by double digits against the Chiefs earlier this month in Week 17. They won against Kansas City. That same month, just a few weeks later, they do it again Sunday night in the AFC Championship game. That's hard to do, especially against the Chiefs. Under Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs have never lost a game when they've led by 18 or more points. They were 28-0 until last night. I look at this Bengals team and I know they are special. Joe Burrow is special. He has had the best season of any college quarterback of all time. You guys know I covered him at Ohio State. I saw him win a national championship at LSU. He has never lost a playoff game. He is 8-0 in the biggest games of his career, and he could become the first quarterback to win a Heisman, a national championship, and a Super Bowl. And he could do it in 3 years. That's not even considering the fact that he got hurt last season and was out most of the time with an ACL injury that he suffered against Washington. He did all this after inheriting a 2-14 team with the worst offensive line in the league. And I love the Ohio State LSU college ties on this team, with Burrow having ties to both. Defensive power from my Buckeyes, Von Bell with a big interception in overtime, Sam Hubbard, Eli Apple, coming up big when we need it, and that's going to be big in this Super Bowl. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have a great connection. They've made history before on the biggest stage, and their national championship win. In their national championship season at LSU, Joe Burrow set the single season passing touchdown record. He threw 270 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half of that title game. 463 yards and 5 scores total, along with 58 yards rushing and a touchdown on the ground in that game. His favorite target then was none other than Jamar Chase, who also had a career night on that historic day, finishing with 9 catches, 221 yards, and 2 touchdowns. All of this is to say that I'm putting my early bets on Cincinnati. The Rams do have exceptional offense. They have that duo of Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, but it has to translate into touchdowns. The Rams are just 4 of 11 in the red zone these past 2 games, while the Bengals have defended exceptionally this postseason. They held the Chiefs to just 3 points in the second half, a crucial second half, and they came up big in the end of regulation in the end zone, holding Mahomes to force a field goal. But Burrow will have to release the ball quicker, with Aaron Donald up front, while also trying to avoid Jalen Ramsey in coverage. Ramsey will likely be covering Jamar Chase, but that opens up T. Higgins, who is still a reliable target. And although Los Angeles had the 3rd most sacks this season, with 50, Joe Burrow with 51, they only had 5 in the playoffs. And the Bengals can take advantage of that, along with Burrow's ability to extend plays with his feet and they can lean on the rushing attack. They got Joe Mixon. Cincinnati's O-line also just came off of their best game of the season. Their team rushed for 118 yards, and Burrow was only sacked once. Joe Cool can handle this. Don't bet against him here. He does not let sacks phase him. He can make those big passes in clutch situations. I took the Bengals outright at plus 275 early in the week for the conference championship game. I'm taking them early again, but I'm not afraid of the spread. Bengals plus 4. It is the year of the underdog. Take the value now, because let me tell you, Joe Burrow will not be an underdog long. Who day? Who is with me?